What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I think we've finally reached peak woke. Now, there was a moment, I thought, maybe briefly, that Sarah Silverman might have seen the light. But apparently, she's now reached a insane level of progressive, where Sarah Silverman, a cis female, is now calling Caitlyn Jenner, Olympic-winning trans female, transphobic for her opinions on athletics. Now, obviously, I'm not interested in voting for Caitlyn Jenner. She's not running in anywhere where I live. I think no more celebrities in politics, please, in general. But it's been funny watching the progressive parts of Twitter turn on Caitlyn Jenner, somebody whom they've said we must support no matter what they do, simply because they are trans. Now they're saying, well, because they're a conservative, they're one of the worst human beings on the planet, and that they should be mocked and excommunicated from the LGBTQ community. And this just shows how inclusive the folks that are always talking about diversity and inclusion and things like that really are. They don't want diversity of thought. They want a hegemony. They want a slurry of all the same ideas, and they also want you to be a part of various different communities. But that's secondary. You must first agree with them on everything. Look, I'll be obviously right out front and say, I know I have trans viewers, and I probably be willing to bet they agree with me on this, and I'd be willing to bet that most trans folks agree on this. Look, I think that you should live your best life no matter what, as long as it's not infringing on anyone else's rights. Okay, I've often said before, I mean, my last video editor was a furry, and I don't care what people do in their free time. I really don't, as long as it's not infringing on anybody else's rights. And certainly Caitlyn, formerly Bruce Jenner, has lived a life of privilege, is uber rich, and has escaped, look into her little accident that took somebody's life not that long ago. Caitlyn Jenner is not somebody that I want to spring to defend, but I do think the situation itself is so hilarious that it must be reported. Sarah Silverman calls out Caitlyn Jenner over backwards views on trans athletes. This is transphobia, full stop, right, from a trans individual being told that they are transphobic by a straight female. And while Sarah Silverman does have a few blessings upon her body, she was not blessed in the brain area. She is an absolute moron, in my opinion. And every time she opens her mouth, she looks even dumber. This is the same woman that took pictures of construction spray paint on the ground and said that they were symbols of the bad guys from WW2. She should be mocked. Her opinion is worthless. Caitlyn Jenner likely lost what LGBTQ plus support she had last week by publicly opposing trans equality. That's not what she was opposing. What she was saying is that, biology matters, especially when you're talking about competition. This is somebody who is a gold medal Olympian. So I would argue that maybe they know a little bit more about physical competition than Sarah Silverman, who's probably never done anything in her life. The former Olympian later followed up with this disastrous Fox News interview in which she praised Donald Trump as a disruptor and declared she doesn't care what people think of her views on trans athletes. Well, you know why that is? Here's the thing. You know why that is? It's because she knows that not only do a large percentage of the trans community probably agree with her, it's not an issue people are voting on. It's an issue people talk about on Twitter, certainly, but it's not going to cost her any votes. She lost anybody who would be impressed by that by being a Republican or conservative. Caitlyn Jenner's deeply unpopular opinion saw her skewered on the Sarah Silverman podcast as the comic highlighted the many physical differences between cis athletes that convey advantages in sports. Caitlyn, you're a woman, right? Silverman asked. A trans girl is a girl. she should have the same rights as a cis girl, and that's correct. Now, competing in a child's sport as a biological male against biological females is not a human right. These people don't really understand what rights are. You're not entitled to compete there. I suppose the most reasonable thing you could do is have a category of all trans folks. I don't really know where the line is, but let me be clear. You know, I understand this sucks. I empathize. I completely do. It sucks. If you just want to kind of live your best life, that's cool. But here's the reality. You're just going to have to miss out on this one thing. I just don't see any way to keep it fair. And if being fair to one person means being unfair to 30 people, I don't think that that's the right decision, is it? To have, you know, trans athletes setting world records in categories is a mockery. Even South Park, which is definitely skewered left, has pointed out the absurdity of this. What? You think a trans girl is too strong? What about tall girls as opposed to short girls? What about boys in high school who are teeny tiny and their teammates have already hit puberty and are shaving? Why don't you just have co-ed sports divided by weight and height, you know? Sure, I think you should do that. And then you would really see an exceedingly inconvenient truth, Sarah Silverman. I mean, do I need to point out remember when what was it? It was... when like a boys soccer team defeats Olympic team. What was this? Yeah. Under 15-year-old squad beat the U.S. women's national team in a scrimmage. This is why you don't have them competing on the same field. I don't think there's anything in particular barring females from being in the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, or MLB. Yet, none of them have ascended through the ranks. You mean to tell me that if a female was going to hit 50 dingers a year, that there isn't a single team in baseball that wouldn't take her? I don't believe that. You mean to tell me that if there was a female quarterback that could, you know, run a 4.3 40 and throw a laser beam 70 yards down the field, that there wouldn't be a team that would take her? Of course there would be. I'm just trying to approach this from a reasonable standpoint. I don't want any trans individuals to feel poorly because they are trans. And I understand that when you have a sport and you just want to be, you know, feel like you have a sense of normalcy in your life and you want to compete in the boys baseball team or the girls baseball team as a biological male, that sucks for you. And I empathize. I really do. But let's be real here. We have Sarah Silverman calling a trans woman transphobic. A trans Olympian, by the way. I mean, are you joking? This is not worrying about girls' sports, believe me. I think there are better ways to worry about girls' sports, coming from someone who's never played them, by the way. This is not what that is. This is not a concern for girls' sports. This is transphobia, full stop. It's such a bummer from such a prominent trans woman. Is such a twat. I'm assuming that's what she says. I don't know. No, actually, sorry, Sarah. And we can look at her replies. I mean, not even Twitter is backing her on this. Here's her tweet, 13,000 likes, not too bad. We have the South Park episode here. Serena Williams, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, she said. It's completely different sport, she added. I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. AJ saying, it already exists this way. In every professional sport in the United States, women are not barred from competing. This is exactly what I said. There is no rule stopping them. So why hasn't a single woman made a team ever? I mean, and you have obviously these outliers. This is a real picture playing on a girls' college basketball team. What looks to be a 40-year-old plus trans female who obviously has a massive biological advantage. Here we have not trying hard enough. What is clearly a, again, here too. Imagine standing on that podium and taking an award. I don't there is biology, bone density, muscle density. This stuff doesn't go away just because you started taking blockers a week ago. Not a single instance, Sarah Silverman says. Craig Tefler ranked 200th in 2016. 2017 ranked 390th. 2018 Craig Telfer transitions to female. 2019 Cece Telfer national champion. I mean, you mean to tell me that there aren't biological advantages? And you can see here a fact check. Sarah Silverman falsely claims there's no difference between biological males and females in an attempt to shame Caitlyn Jenner. I saw Caitlyn Jenner say trans girls shouldn't play girls in sports, Silverman said, before admonishing her. Caitlyn, you're a woman, right? A trans girl is a girl. Yes, I will agree with you for most instances, but when we're talking about, because, look, I know some of my audience might not be, on board with that, and I understand that. I'm not here to change your mind, but what I am here to say is, like, it really doesn't, as long as it's not infringing on anybody else's rights, who cares? That's my position, right? So there are, in fact, this is via post-millennial, by the way, plenty of examples, and that great liberal god science has receipts for the differences between boys and girls as well, in addition to significant data such as provided by Save Women's Sports showing that boys have greater strength, muscle mass, bone density. There are also specific cases where girls missed out on opportunities because biological boys took their place. In 2017 and 2018, two biologically male trans students, Andrea Yearwood and Terry Miller, began competing against female athletes in track and field. They literally ran away with the top medals and accolades. While the media applauded the duo for their, quote, bravery, female runners Selena Soule, Elena Smith, and Chelsea Mitchell were relegated to the sidelines of women's sports, watching athletes born male sweep the titles and scholarships set aside for female competitors. These girls were denied winning sports because biological boys took their awards. In 2019, male-bodied University of Montana runner June Eastwood was named NCAA Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Week by Big Sky Conference. 3 months into Eastwood's testosterone suppression treatment, she notified a decrease in her athletic ability from an endurance to muscle strength. According to Runner's World, Eastwood's coach, University of Montana Brian Shaywin, said that June's times intervals in training and workouts don't compare to her previous times prior to suppression. Eastwood still remains the advantages of having gone through male puberty, including muscle mass and bone density, despite the suppression of testosterone levels. And the science goes on and on and on. And you should read this article on the Post-Millennial. Sarah Silverman, you're an absolute moron. There's being woke, and then there's being an idiot. Look, we all know you don't like Caitlyn Jenner because, she's a conservative, and at least you can pretend that's, you can pretend to care. How arrogant are woke comedians claiming to know more about trans issues than Caitlyn Jenner? Well, of course they know more than her because she has the wrong opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're watching and you haven't yet subscribed, there's a red subscribe button down below the video in the lower right-hand corner. Please do click it. I could really use your support. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.